Recently, I got to know a platform called Crowd Heritage, and I was just amazed at how many precious digital collections are stored there. When I opened one of the collections called Things and People from China, one picture just caught my eyes. And I think it would be interesting if I could contribute to telling the stories behind and give reflection on it.
So here's the picture I found moving. It was taken in the 1940s. The girl on the left foreground of the picture is Var Wan, a Chinese girl living in Britain. In this picture, she is studying Cantonese at a school in Pennyfields in London's East End, together with her two sisters and brothers. Although they are Chinese, they have never been to China before. Since they are part of Chinese immigrants in Britain, it just reminded me of the history of the Chinese mass immigration wave. It occurred from the late 19th century when the Sino-French War broke out, to the early Republic of China period, and culminated in the founding of the New China in 1949. Throughout this turbulent period, corruption, starvation, and wars were everywhere. Many Chinese people started to emigrate abroad in hope of a better life. Most of them are illiterate peasants. After New China was founded, it became harder for many people to emigrate because of change in political situation and stricter border control. However, not all of the Chinese immigrants had fulfilled their dream of a better life. Taking the Chinese immigration to the UK, for example, during the interwar period, the number of Chinese immigrants in Britain was low in total, not only because of the enactment of immigration law imposed on Chinese people after the First World War, but also a strong atmosphere of discrimination. In UK, most of Chinese people served in the shipping and laundry industry, working exhaustively while getting paid insufficiently. This picture made me emotional. The kids behind seemed so attentive, so eager to learn knowledge, and the smiling girl impressed me a lot. In an age of unrest, she seemed happy and placid, looking at some point with a pair of shining and curious eyes. For me, many questions just naturally jumped out. What kind of family is she from? How is life in London treating her? Is she interested in learning Cantonese? And most importantly, how is she going to find her self-identity when she grows up? Even today, the issue of self-identity is still lingering in many overseas Chinese minds. Since the start of reform and opening up 42 years ago, there's been a new round of immigration wave. Nowadays, there are many overseas Chinese who are born and raised abroad and perhaps have never been to China, feeling both alienated from their motherland and disconnected from their adopted country. In Chinese-American writer Amy Tan's debut novel, The Joy Luck Club, she touched upon the difficulties the American-born Chinese daughters encountered and the conflicts between them and their mothers. More often than not, the fuse to light the quarrel is because the daughters, as the second-generation immigrants, often have tiger parents who place great hopes on them. Apart from that, Asian immigrants have to combat with the stereotypes from the outside world. In many Western societies, Asian women are fetishized while Asian men are desexualized. At a time when the COVID-19 pandemic is still wreaking havoc, many Chinese people who live outside China are still struggling over the increasing discrimination and unfair treatment. Whatever country you're originally from, it is always challenging when you live in a country as an outsider. I'm currently studying in Ireland, and as a foreign student, I deeply know getting used to the local culture is not something you can breathe through. It was great to see such a monochrome picture online. Even if it dates back to the 1940s, it still somehow echoes and resonates with today's world. How are we going to treat the immigrants? And how are they going to find self-identity? these questions are still worth to be discussed today. In the end, every one of us is an indispensable part to weave Chinese stories. And for those who are still abroad and unable to go back home under COVID, I hope you can stay safe, stay healthy, and be smiling, just like the girl in the picture.